Okay, hello everybody. Welcome to your very favorite Bronze Age comic book podcast, Flea Market Fantasy. I am your co-host, Mike L., and as always, I'm joined by...
Michael Dell of the LCS Hockey Radio Show.
That's right, and because it is Shocktober, I have once again picked a horror-themed comic book in the form of Tomb of Dracula, and this is number 12 that we're going to talk about.
Yeah, from 1973. And I totally forgot that you coined the term Shocktober until you just read it again.
Did I invent that? Yeah, I think I did.
I think so. I think so. Because last year was the first time I ever heard it, and now it's back.
Wait, you're telling me you've never heard the term Shocktober? Come on.
No, I'm American. We don't have that in America.
Wow, okay.
Shocktober. So, Tomb of Dracula. Now, Michael, you always love Halloween.
Yep.
How do you celebrate it at your house there?
Well, funny enough, I don't. I'm not really one for. I mean, because I don't have kids of my own, I don't want to like sit in my. I don't want to be like the weirdo dude in his house handing out candy to kids. You know what I mean?
So you don't even give candy out to the kids?
No, I tend to. I usually go out for Halloween with my nephews. You know, like they dress up and I walk around with them as they get candy. So that's how I celebrate it. And then like in my younger days, I used to go to the bar and dress up and stuff like that. So.
Wow. When was the last time you dressed up for Halloween?
You mean to go to a bar or as a kid?
Just anything. Like, when was the last time?
I think it was maybe, maybe 2 or 3 years ago. I went to the store and bought an official Halloween costume, and the official name of the costume was Cool Vampire. Okay? And I went out dressed...
Sunglasses?
No, it was just... I don't know what was cool about it, but it was almost like a 70s vampire, okay?
Okay.
And I felt pretty cool. And I thought, man, you know, people are going to be so impressed with this costume. So I went down to the bar with G.I. Jolie and another friend of ours, and we went to one of our favorite bars. And then I glanced over across the street, and sure enough, there's another guy with the exact same cool vampire costume.
Oh, no.
Yep, so I got my picture taken with him. So if I can dig that up, I'll post it somewhere.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Mm-hmm. All right, so if you were handing out candy... Like, what's the popular Canadian candy to hand out?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I know that we have a few you guys don't have. Like, you don't have Coffee Crisp, right?
No.
See, Coffee Crisp is like a, what is that called? Like, not a wafer, but I think it's like a wafer, yeah.
All right, we'll go with wafer.
Yeah, it's kind of like, it's basically like a chocolate-covered wafer that tastes like coffee. It's amazing.
Huh.
Yep, that's one. And then I know that we have barbecue chips, and I don't think you guys have barbecue chips, right?
Yeah, we have barbecue chips.
Okay, what's the one I'm thinking of then? There's another one that you guys don't have. Oh, ketchup chips.
Yeah. There's. I think Lay's makes some ketchup chips, but they're not popular at all.
Okay. Yeah. They're pretty big here.
They're terrible. All right, so basically, Canadian Halloween stinks, is what I'm learning.
No way, it's awesome.
It's just terrible. All right, so anyway. Tomb of Dracula, this stars a very cool vampire, Michael.
Yeah, you could say that.
Count Dracula.
Yep.
Now, this is interesting because, again, the title is Tomb of Dracula. Mm-hmm. It stars Dracula. Mm-hmm. He's not a good guy.
No, he's a bad guy.
Yeah, he's a bad guy. So, this is a pretty interesting concept for a comic book. So, basically, the premise is you follow this group of vampire hunters who are trying to defeat Dracula.
Right.
Huh. Can you think of any other books like that, Michael, where a villain is the star, the name lead?
Well, I mean, you know, following along with the Universal horror characters, there was a Marvel book called Frankenstein's Monster or something like that, which I can only assume was a similar idea. I don't know though. I never read it.
I never.
There's also Werewolf by Night. You know.
Oh, that's right. Werewolf
probably
by
the
Night.
same idea. Yeah.
So I always thought he was kind of like a good werewolf, but he's a bad werewolf?
I don't know. No, he might be. It's another one I never read.
Idea. Yeah, I have no idea. All right, but I still think it's an interesting concept for a book. And the series started in 1972, and it ran until 1979, so 70 issues. And that's a pretty good run, you know, for a horror book. And the reason it came out in 72 was because in 1971 the Comics Code had relaxed some of their restrictions on horror books and vampires. I guess they had, barred vampires for a while. I don't know.
Actually, I kind of didn't know about that until George, a friend of mine, explained it to me, and I guess that's why Marvel had Morbius, the living vampire, because they weren't allowed to say he was dead.
Right.
Isn't that crazy?
So when they Marvel wanted to, they had already, like you said, they had already done Morbius, and so like, all right, let's go full vampire, and they went with Dracula because his rights were in public domain. It had been long enough that anyone could write Dracula stories. Of course, Dracula started in the Bram Stoker novel Dracula. And I'm like, you're a big literary buff. Did you read Dracula?
Absolutely, yep. I love it.
Yeah, I read it a good like 20-some years ago, but it is pretty wild stuff. It's very erotic, Michael. All about repressed sexuality in the Victorian era. So if you're out there and you're very lonely, give it a whirl. You might enjoy it. So the first 6 issues of Tomb of Dracula were written by 3 different authors.
Never a good sign.
No. And the first 3 issues were all plotted by different people. Do you know who those first 3 writers were, Michael?
Based on memory, I'm going to say Roy the Boy Thomas.
He was the editor. He was the editor, and he plotted issue 1.
Okay.
With Stan Lee.
And then I believe Jerry Conway was in there, right?
Jerry Conway wrote the first 2 issues. He was able to plot the second issue.
Okay.
But he had no input into the first issue until the art was already done, and then he just filled in the dialogue.
Okay. And then I believe Archie Goodwin came in after that, right?
Correct. Archie Goodwin was next, and he did 2 issues, I believe, and then one more guy.
Oh, this is just a guess because I don't know, but I'm gonna guess Mike Friedrich.
No.
Okay.
I didn't even know this fella was writing for Marvel. What is it? Gardner Fox.
Oh, wow. Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
because he's a DC writer.
Yeah, DC guy. Gardner Fox, and he did, I think, 2 issues. So then in issue 7, our buddy Marv Wolfman came in, and he stabilized the series, because those first 6 issues were all kind of like scattershot. Every writer came in and had a different take on the title. So Marv Wolfman came in and kind of stabilized things, and he wrote the remaining issues of the run from 7 to 70. And the artist for the entire run was our buddy Gene Colan.
He didn't miss a single issue?
Nope. 1 to 70.
Good for him.
And the original artist on the book was supposed to be Bill Everett. But when Gene Colan found, I think we mentioned this story before, but when Gene Colan found out about a Dracula book, he really liked it, the idea, he wanted to do it. So he petitioned Stan Lee, but Stan Lee said, hey, I already promised it to Bill Everett. So Gene Colan went home and spent the next couple of days just drawing Dracula pages, and he sent them in to Stan Lee, and Lee says, all right, you got the job. So that's how he got it.
He's perfect for it.
And he based the character of Dracula, his physical appearance, he based it on the actor Jack Palance. And then, after like a year after the comic book made its debut, Jack Palance actually played Dracula on a TV series.
Whoa, see, I have that movie, but I just naturally assumed it came out before this. Wow.
Yeah, what was it, a TV movie? It wasn't like an ongoing series or anything, but
right.
It was like it's pretty cool. A little weird. The inker was Tom Palmer, right? And he did 65 of the 70 issues.
Nice.
So that's pretty crazy that you had such stable creators for such a long run, you know?
Right.
That usually leads to quality.
I would say, yeah.
Yeah. So after the series ended, then Dracula, he bounced around a couple times. He showed up in the X-Men.
That's right. Yeah, I read those.
And a couple other places. And then in 1991, Marvel did I believe it was a 4-issue limited series under the Epic imprint called Tomb of Dracula. And that was once again done by Wolfman and Colan.
Nice.
So they love their Dracula. Wolfman and Colan. Now, we've talked about Gene Colan a lot recently because it seems like every issue we do is Gene Colan.
Right.
Marv Wolfman we discussed in detail when we did Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Yes, that's right. And also New Teen Titans.
Yeah, that's right.
And Fantastic Four.
Oh, did he do a Fantastic Four?
Didn't he do the one with the Golden Gorilla, or was that Len Wein?
No, that was Roy Thomas.
Oh, okay. I stand corrected.
I believe it was Roy Thomas who did the Big Monkey.
Okay.
So we won't get into those characters, but that's pretty cool that they had such a long run on the title, and they both really enjoyed working with each other, and that's always nice to hear, because there's a lot of petty arguments in comic books.
Right, and it's also unheard of today, right? Like, you're lucky if you get 7 issues out of one guy, let alone 70.
Yeah. So that's, I'm trying to think of anything else needing to say about Team of Dracula. I guess we'll get into the characters and stuff as we go, but
yeah, I'll just say quickly, I know Tom Palmer mostly from Avengers, because he inked John Buscema on Avengers for like 50 issues or whatever it was. Yeah.
Yep. Seems about
Good
right.
Stuff.
And I guess Wolfman also became the editor of Team of Dracula, so he was running the show. And when it came time they could tell the series was ending, they were supposed to go to issue 72. And they had actually already had all the art done and the scripts written for those issues. And then Jim Shooter said, hey, you know what? Let's wrap it up in one. So he gave him a double-sized issue.
Okay.
And then Wolfman had to go in and he cut out 14 pages.
Oh, really?
And he had to redo some of the dialogue and stuff to make it flow. But he said if you were buddies with Jim Shooter, there was nothing he wouldn't do for you. And if you weren't buddies with him, he could give a fuck.
Right.
So Marv Wolfman was not buddies with Jim Shooter, so he had to wrap it up in one. But so there it is, 70-issue run of Tomb of Dracula. All right, Michael. So I guess let's just get into the book.
Sure. So yeah, Marvel Comics Group this is Tomb of Dracula number 12, September 72. You said, right?
73.
73. Okay. So
the series started in 72. Yeah.
Okay. We got this awesome little corner, not a box, but a corner circle with Dracula, almost feetless, but yeah, he's kind of doing his classic pose with his hands up. It kind of looks like he's almost flying, but maybe he's posing. I don't know.
But it is pretty cool that it's a circle and not the square. Usually you get the character box as the square straight down from the price. Here we get a circle with like the price box overlapping it.
Right. I think that might have been the style of the day back then, right? Mm-hmm. Around this time. And
also we got to talk about the main title, The Tomb of Dracula. The of Dracula part is in like a red bat.
That's right, which we've all seen before in a certain other character, right?
Batman-like.
Exactly.
Yeah. But what's the deal with those little white marks between the tomb and after tomb? Do you see what I'm saying?
That's a great question. I have no idea.
It's really bizarre.
Huh.
Because there isn't one before the. Like, you think you would put one before that to balance it out. But they just have two little marks. I don't know.
Huh. Yeah, that's weird. I don't know. So anyway, so then we have Dracula. So we have Dracula who's transforming from a bat to Dracula, to a human. And...
you know what? I think it's the other way around. I think... Like he jumped from the ground up into this. I don't know.
Yeah, I think the bat. No, that's a good question. I have no idea. But this is why I say so, because he is he's colored in solid as a human, but behind him there's these 3 images of like a bat creature. So I can only assume that he just turned from the bat creature. But you could be right. It could almost be reversed. Because
he grabbed this lady here, Edith Harkin, I think is her name. He grabs her from the ground and flies her into the sky. So I think maybe the blue bat is trying to imply that he will be turning into a bat to fly away with her.
Okay, it could be.
But
so Dracula's like, hear me, Quincy Harker. If you wish to see your daughter alive again, then follow me to the house that screams.
House that screams.
Yep, and then we see the supporting characters down at the bottom, all like in shock, looking up at them.
Yeah, we got Quincy Harker. Is that their Harker? Yeah. He's in a wheelchair, and we'll talk about him in a minute. Then we got Rachel Van Helsing and a fellow named Paul Drake. I believe we're down there. And the lady Dracula has in his arm is Edith, Quincy's daughter. And, yeah, he's flying away. So it has a couple things we like in a comic book cover. We have action. We have a lady in distress with cleavage showing. And we have lots of dialogue in The House That Screams.
That's right, yeah.
So, can't beat that. Good 1970s cover. Do you know who drew this, Michael?
So I guess it's not Gene Colan.
It is not Gene Colan.
Huh.
Yeah,
Just looking at this, I'm going to guess John Buscema.
Incorrect. But Gil Kane drew a lot of Tomb of Dracula covers early on, but this was drawn by Frank Bruner.
Wow, okay. Interesting.
Frank Bruner. Yeah. Who, of course, we encountered on the Doctor Strange issue we did.
That's right, yeah.
All right, so here we go. The official title of the book is Night of the Screaming House.
Right.
Dun,
So
dun,
we're going to talk about the characters or just jump into the story?
Well, I guess, yeah, let's go over the characters real quick, because they're all here on the splash page anyway. The main guy we need to talk is Quincy Harker, and he is the son of John and Mina from the book Dracula.
Yep.
They're the protagonists in the novel. And I guess I'm not sure about their history here in Marvel, but I believe Dracula killed John, and then Mina eventually ended up turning into a vampire.
Yeah, I believe so.
I think that's how it works. So Quincy is their son, and he's an older fella now, and he's in a wheelchair because Dracula, because he's been hunting Dracula, him and his buddies. So Dracula got pissed and attacked him at an opera performance, and threw him from the balcony onto the stage, and he shattered his legs.
Really?
So yeah, that's why he's in a wheelchair. But he's still hunting Dracula, but now he needs more help. So his helpers are Rachel Van Helsing, who is the daughter of Abraham Van Helsing from the novel, who always gets called, he's like the big vampire hunter, but in the novel he's really just a doctor with some knowledge of vampires,
right.
Not really a hunter. But of course the Van Helsing films were based on him, right? I never saw any of them, but yeah.
No, I never saw. You mean with Hugh Jackman?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I didn't see that. It looked terrible, to be honest. So.
Then we have a fella. Is his name Paul Drake?
It's something Drake, but I don't know if it's Paul.
Yeah, because Paul Drake is Perry Mason's detective. Paul Drake.
Okay. Bobby Drake is Iceman, so it's not, I know it's not Bobby.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. We'll get here somewhere. Mm-hmm. But anyway, he was a rich playboy in America, and then he found out that he kind of went broke, but he found out he inherited a castle in I guess Transylvania, and so he went over there, and he found out he was a distant relative of Dracula.
Nice.
And now he is hunting Dracula as well. And we have another fellow named Taj, who is an Indian guy with the turban, and right. He can't talk because he was his family in their town or village or whatever, where it was attacked by Dracula at one point, and he had his throat like kind of ripped up and damaged, so he can't talk. And his wife was put in a wheelchair, and their son was turned into a vampire, and eventually ended up being killed by the angry citizens as he got older. Yeah, so he's out to get Dracula because of what he did to his family. And of course, Edith is the daughter of Quincy. And I think that's everybody, right? Yeah.
I think so, yep. We got one more coming up, but we'll talk about him in a minute.
Oh, yeah, the big guy coming up.
I don't want to spoil it.
Yeah.
So we jump into the middle of the action. I guess it's not a done one, but anyway. And Dracula is attacking. Which one is this now?
That's Edith.
Edith.
He attacked Edith, yeah.
Right, so he's attacking Edith, and they're all shouting back and forth, threatening him, and Elizabeth Langley fires a, what's it called, crossbow at him.
Now, Elizabeth Langley, that's Rachel Van Helsing there, right? Why are they calling her Elizabeth Langley?
This is confusing as heck. 1 second here.
I'll confirm this. You can.
Okay. So, yeah. Oh, yeah, you're right. But Dracula calls her Rachel Van Helsing, so I'm not sure. Oh, no, because Elizabeth Langley is the one that the Dracula has captured. Or whatever. That's what it is.
But I thought Edith Harker was the one he captured.
Son of a gun. I don't know.
That's Quincy's daughter. I'll look it up.
Okay.
It might just be like another name she goes by. I'll look it up.
Okay. So anyway, right away I get the sense that Dracula is too powerful because she fires the crossbow at him and he just turns to mist and the arrow just goes through him, which kind of bugged me, but whatever.
Why?
I don't know. He's too
Why
powerful. I don't know.
But he should be powerful. He's Dracula.
Yeah, but too powerful, you know? I mean, I know that every version of Dracula is different, but I just don't recall. Could he turn into mist in other versions?
Yes.
Okay.
In fact, in the book we did last year, the DC book we did, he turned into a mist because I was concerned because I never knew Dracula could do that either. But,
okay. But now that you know it, you're like, well, what's the big deal?
yeah, like apparently other Draculas do it all the time. What's the big deal? What was that one we did last year?
Oh yeah, it was DC. Was it House of Mystery or something?
Yes, it was a house thing. Yeah.
Okay. But anyway, oh yeah.
Oh,
so anyway,
by the way, real quick, that detective or not detective, the Drake guy is named Frank Drake.
Frank Drake. Okay.
Frank Drake.
Okay. So yeah, and so and I also got to mention Dracula's dialogue. How many times have I shown you, woman, this weapon is meaningless to one who can become as the mist itself. But since you seem too thick to learn, I'll take it from you. And he snatches the crossbow away from her. But then Taj attacks him from behind. But then he turns into a bat and starts to fly away. But because bats are so small, Taj weighs him down.
Well, I don't think it's that bats are so small because he stays like a big bat.
Okay, yeah, you're right. Like a big flying fox bat. Yeah,
but this Taj guy has a remarkable strength.
Ah, okay.
Like almost superhuman for some reason.
Okay.
But yeah.
Well, yeah, it says here that Taj falls beneath, or the Lord of Evil falls beneath Taj's weight. So I thought that was just because he was bigger, but I don't know. But anyway.
Yeah. Could be.
So Dracula falls and shifts his leathery body once again. So he turns back into into Dracula, and then he lands on top of Taj, and he's like, "Good, the fool cushions my fall." It's so funny. So then he grabs this is what brown-haired girl. Who is it?
Oh, well, yeah, that's Edith.
That's Edith. Okay.
I'm so confused.
I know it's confusing as F. So he grabs Edith.
Whenever we research these issues, I always go to Marvel Fandom, and they always have breakdowns of the characters and stuff. So, like, Rachel Van Helsing is the character listed, not Elizabeth Langley, or whatever her name is. And I'm trying to, like, see if, like, that's an alias for her, but I'm not seeing anything. So.
Well, see, this is
also... wait. Oh, here's another character, Elizabeth Langley. All right. So... But then is Elizabeth even in later in the book?
I have no idea. I don't know. It's a bit confusing.
Here's Elizabeth Langley's history. Elizabeth Langley was rescued from Dracula by Rachel Van Helsing and Quincy Harker. The end. All right, thanks.
So maybe this is her only appearance, this issue and last issue. Who knows? But apparently, so yes, and this is Dracula's daughter.
Who, Langley?
Yeah, because she says, "No, let me go." Oh, no.
That's Quincy Harker.
Right. Gotcha. Okay.
Oh, so, all right. I figured it out.
Okay.
I figured it out. This is what's so confusing. It's pretty obvious if you're reading the book. I read it a couple of days ago, but all right. So when that thing was saying for Elizabeth Langley, the nightmare is over. That was Elizabeth Langley that he was attacking in the splash page. All right.
Okay.
And then that is Rachel Van Helsing shooting the crossbow at him. And she also has blonde hair. So it kind of looks like she just woke up and shot the crossbow at him, if you're flipping through it quick. But two different women. So that Elizabeth Langley was just a lady he was attacking in the street, and they saved her.
Okay, she has red hair, actually, yeah.
Oh, because it's blondish. I don't know, I'm saying blonde.
Different shade of blonde, though.
Oh, that's I forget because Mike L believes he has blonde hair, even though he actually has red hair. So it's very confusing.
Stop.
But so this Elizabeth Langley lady, she's just a victim of Dracula. She has nothing to do with the vampire hunters. So, all right. Oh, that makes sense. All right, here we go.
So, if people are listening to this, do you think they have more incentive to read this comic or less now?
Less.
Okay. So then, it's funny because then Dracula says to whoever the hell this is, she's like, months ago, I attacked you as a sham, my dear, but this time my approach is real. You shall come with me as a prisoner. So then basically he kidnaps her and then he tells everybody else, my fight is with all humanity, old friend, and that includes your beautiful young daughter. Listen to me now or she dies. So then he basically...
And just to clarify, he is kidnapping Edith Harker, the daughter of Quincy Harker.
Right. So basically, yeah. So he snatches her up, turns into a bat, I think. Yeah, do like a bat. Flies away with her, but he tells them to meet him. Right? Is this the part where he tells them to meet him, or else?
I think so.
Yeah.
Something else I'm noticing, Michael. There's a dog in these scenes as well.
Yeah, I noticed that too. Yeah, I noticed that too.
Did we ever get a name for the dog?
Nope, there's no name for the dog, but I did notice the dog. Yep.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, he swats away Frank Drake, and he flies off with Edith. See, look, he's still like a big bat in that one panel.
Yeah.
See how huge he is? And then, yeah, he tells him to meet him.
Yeah, he's like, tomorrow at midnight you'll hear from me telling where you shall find your daughter. So he doesn't tell them where to go yet.
Yeah, and then, so weird.
Yeah, go there at once or you'll not see her again. Weird. Go where? Anyway,
so the rest of the hunters say, we got to find him. We got to find him quick. Yeah, Frank Drake, he says nothing. Well, Quincy Harker says, oh, Lord, should anything happen to her? And Drake says, nothing will, Quincy. We've just got to hope we find the Count before he tries anything. And we will, Quincy. We've got to believe we will. Yeah, let's hope that Dracula kidnaps your daughter and, just treats her like a gentleman.
Yeah.
For the next 2 days. Because I doubt that bloodthirsty vampire is going to do anything, less. Good Lord. All right, anyway.
Funny. And like this dialogue, and we will, Quincy. We've got to believe we will. Not great, but anyway.
Yeah.
So so Dracula brings her to this castle, and he's like, you see, lovely one, you are a nuisance, one which prevents my concentration on other tasks. And like the pesky flies they must be swatted and made to obey me, ha 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 ha. He's laughing. So then we cut over to...
Yeah, basically he's just tired of being hunted and chased by her father.
Right.
Like, enough. I'm tired of this bullshit.
Right. So now we get back to the Dracula Busters, and they're driving their car through the rain. And it's pretty, like this art's great, right? Like they're coming in through the rain, and like the outline of the house is just, it's just the shape of the rain kind of hitting it. That's all you can really see, and it's colored in, but it's really well done. I like it. And there's all this, I guess you'd call it purple prose from Marv Wolfman, right?
Yeah, because a lot of this is like an omniscient narrator,
right,
doing the narrating, and I like the bottom two there. But these four either do not hear the warning or else refuse to heed its message, for they press on, moving closer to the house men call whispering hell.
Right. I love that. And then just to shake things up, we cut over to a scene introducing a character I had no idea was in the story, none other than Blade the Vampire Hunter.
Yeah, Wesley Snipes himself.
Right.
He doesn't look like Wesley Snipes here. But Blade made his first appearance in issue 10.
Right.
So this is his third appearance ever.
Yep. And it's funny because I have read number 10 a few times because I've got like the reprint. And it's funny how not like Wesley Snipes this guy is. Like his green pants and his green shirt. And I think he's got red sunglasses later. Like... It's just funny. They should have done this version, but whatever. So he's sharpening his knife, just hanging out, and then his girlfriend walks in. What's his girlfriend's name? Does he say it?
Saffron.
Saffron. And so it's funny because...
yeah, he's whittling a wooden stake.
Right. Right. Yeah. Oh, that's right. I had it backwards. Okay. So then so then the phone rings, and then she's like, no, Blade, don't. Have to, Saff. I'm expecting Blade here. Who's spit? Silence, fool, and listen. If you wish to find me, follow these instructions. Go on, Fangs. I'm listening. By the way, they all call him Fangs in this comic, okay? They call Dracula Fangs.
Does anyone else call him that or just Blade?
Or maybe it's just Blade. Yeah, maybe it's just
he
Blade.
Calls him Fangs like 1,000 times.
Yeah, I know. Okay. You're right. So then he leaves. And then, I guess she throws the knife at the door as he's leaving because she's pissed off, right?
Yeah. He slams the door and there's a knife that hits it then, boom.
Right.
She's so mad at him. Because they were right about to make sweet, sweet love, Michael.
Right.
And she was ready to go. And then he answered the phone and like, I got to talk to Dracula. But here's my question, Michael.
Okay.
Why in the blue hell is Dracula calling Blade the vampire hunter and telling him where to find him?
I have no idea.
It makes no sense.
I was also thinking how non-threatening it is to just get a phone call from Dracula, you know? Like, it is not very spooky.
It's so dumb. I'm trying to figure out why, because as we'll learn, Blade plays a pivotal part in how Dracula gets defeated here later. So why would you call Blade and say, hey,
makes no sense. No,
yeah.
It makes no sense. So we cut over to Whispering Hell. And so the gang has made it, you know, indoors. And then they're kind of like looking around, trying to find Dracula. But then Dracula appears, right? Oh, no, he doesn't appear yet. No, my mistake. He doesn't appear yet.
He just turns all like the candles to go really bright.
Right.
And
then, his disembodied voice, I guess, eh? Welcome to Whispering Hell, my friends. The time is almost nigh for the games to begin. Games which shall surely lead to your deaths. Ha 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 ha. And yeah.
Yeah, so after the lights get all bright, then he makes it all black. Everything's dark. And then Quincy Harker says, "We're not here to play games, Dracula. Where is Edith?"
He won't tell them. He's like, "Oh, above you on the balcony. Now all you must do is claim her. Ha ha ha. Edith. Edith, it's us, Rachel and Frank." So they try to go up there, but then what's his name? Drake. He steps on like a blasted.
Well, I think it's Rachel's leg that goes through.
Oh, you're right. Yep. Yeah, you're right.
She like a step breaks.
Right.
And her foot gets caught, and he's trying to get her foot out.
Right. And then there's a bunch of vampire bats that attack, but Taj is waving around his torch to try and scare them off, right?
Well, all these bats attack, and Rachel Van Helsing says, "No, my face. They're clawing my face."
Yes, right. Oh, and I love this narration. But the bats continue to pick, to claw, to shred the once lovely, unscarred face of Rachel Van Helsing.
Yeah, it sounds like she's going to be like looking like Freddy Krueger after all this, but I don't know, she looks all right.
Yeah, just some red blotches. Yeah.
So yeah, Taj beats him off with his torch, and the vampire bats eventually leave the house. They fly through a window.
And then so then Drake and Rachel see Dracula. And then I love this. He's like, "I don't know what you've done to Edith, fiend, but if you've harmed her in any way, your overly melodramatic threats interest me not, Frank Drake, but my game has yet to begin, and so for the moment, the girl must not be yours." It's awesome. Anyway. Oh, and then on the next page we see Rachel's face, and like you said, we expected it to be all mangled, but it looks like there's just a few lines and then like kind of like a red blotchy circle thing on her forehead.
Yeah.
But it is a comic book in 1973, so we don't know how bad that's actually supposed to be. And then
so Drake and Taj pursue Dracula while Rachel stays behind to heal up.
Right. And then what happens here? Oh yeah. So then this is a weird scene. So then Drake is walking through this like hallway or whatever, and then he's like, he hears laughter. Ha 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 ha. Huh? Laughter? Okay, Dracula, wherever you are, come on out, or I'm coming in. And then this is where I'm confused. I don't know who's saying this line. "Don't make me laugh, man." What?
Oh, that's Blade.
But see, the way they color it's backwards, right? They're coloring the hand as a black person. But
yeah.
So like, technically, that's supposed to be Drake's hand.
You know what? No, maybe the hand in shadow is Drake's hand, and the black hand is Blade's. Karate chopping him. See it? He's like the yellow's the blow on the shadowed hand. And
okay, but this is what's confusing: is who do you think says the line? "Don't make me laugh, man. I could hear your knees knocking all the way back to London." That's something Blade would say, right?
Yeah, something's fucked up here. Either the coloring on the hands, but it looks like the karate chop of Blade is done right, but they did the dialogue balloons wrong.
That's probably what it is. You're right. You're right. So it's backwards. So then Blade's just standing there with his. Oh yeah, I guess his sunglasses are green. I thought they were red.
Yeah, he's a big fan of green.
Yep.
His coat's red though. He's got like a red coat, reddish brown coat. And like a yellow belt with a bunch of wooden stakes in it.
Yep.
It's pretty cool.
And so earlier we pointed out that he calls Dracula Fangs, and he calls Drake Blue Eyes, right?
Which is a little weird.
And then I don't really like this. Like, I guess this is supposed to be Dracula just unleashing a bunch of random tarantulas on them. Or no, Black Widows. Black Widows.
Black Widow spiders.
But it's just like...
By the way, Blade's there, him and this Drake guy, they don't get along, but, Blade's there to help him and whatever. But yeah, the Black Widow spiders, it is weird because there's a little cage, box. Like, I don't understand. Like, we just see a hand pushing a little box into the screen, like, and these spiders crawling out of it. Like, why does Dracula need to keep them in a box?
That's what I mean. To me, it should be a supernatural thing where, like, Dracula wills them to attack them. Not he's got to keep them in a little cage. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Agreed.
Yeah. So then the Black Widows... okay, so then here the narration switches to, I guess, second person, right?
Yeah, I don't know where you're at, but yeah.
Effortlessly, they move across the dark, rugged floor, move as if directed by another mind, another force, and they move, Frank Drake, directly towards your leg.
Yeah, he's kind of talking directly to Frank Drake, even though Frank Drake can't hear him.
Right. So then, and here's the thing is, Gene Colan's art is great. It's always great, yes. But sometimes it's a little bit confusing. It's a little bit, like, cramped, I find. Because, like, that's...
Why?
Well, just because it's like, not to say that I mean, I can follow it because I can piece it together, but it's not as clear as, say, John Buscema or something. Because, like, okay, that's Frank's leg, but then the next panel, I don't know, it's just kind of weird. It's just sometimes I find it a little bit hard to follow.
Well, I think the coloring of Drake's pants are very similar to the coloring in Taj's coat.
That's part of it.
So it kind of looks like it's the same guy, but yeah, there is a scene switch.
Right.
Because the narration says, wow, down the southern
wing, right,
of Whispering Hill. But yeah, the coloring there could have helped.
Right.
They changed it.
So then Taj catches up with, what's her name, right? Harker?
Edith Harker, the girl who was kidnapped.
Right, and then from behind, Dracula gives...
This is awesome.
Moron! You thought your silent steppings could take me unawares? Unawares. You thought to fool Dracula, who can sense the footsteps of the most insignificant of insects, the flutter of the most fragile of flowers? No quiet one. To Dracula, no sound remains unheard. No signs of treachery remain unobserved. I love it.
But the best part of this, Mike, is the panel. Dracula's jumping down behind him, delivering like the double axe handle, like Macho
Right,
Man.
Is that what that's called? Okay, yeah, that's great.
Yeah, off the top rope. Bang.
And I love how in the next panel he's already moved on to Edith, and you can see Taj like laid out behind him. That's great.
Yeah, he's KO'd. When Macho Man, because that was the move, Michael. Macho Man would throw the guy outside. Then when the guy's outside the ring, Macho Man would climb to the top rope, jump off to the double axe handle, then throw him back in the ring and hit the elbow. That was pretty much the sequence of events.
I love Macho Man Randy Savage.
Yeah, so do I.
Anyway.
So yeah, nice tribute to. Well, this is like years before Macho Man, but maybe this is where he got the idea for the double axe handle.
Could be.
Dracula. Yeah.
Sunglasses too. Maybe he got the idea for his big sunglasses from Blade, right?
Blade, yeah.
So then, so now we cut back to the Black Widows, right? So now Blade sees the Black Widows. He's like, Drake, don't move. What? Is this some kind of... Do as I say, Drake, or you'll wind up deader than Dracula's ever been. Dig? See, this is authentic dialogue. Anyway.
Yeah.
Hit that wall and play stone, man. Don't move a muscle. It's funny.
Now, I don't mean to criticize Blade and Drake here, but I mean, Black Widows are small. They could just step on them.
I guess. You're right. You mean instead of rolling them up on a carpet and throwing them out the window?
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is as dangerous a situation as they think it is.
Right.
Just step on them. It ain't that big a deal. You guys are maybe if they're barefoot or something, but they're wearing boots.
Yeah.
No big deal.
Yeah.
But yeah, as you said, Blade catches him in a rug and throws him out a window. So yeah.
Yeah.
Thank God.
So then Blade, then he smashes through the wall, and he's come upon Dracula, right?
Well, the door. I don't know about a wall.
Oh, the door, right? Yeah.
And he's got his wooden spikes ready, his stakes, and
right. And he's like, hands off her, Dracula, or so help me, I'll cut him off. It's great.
Yeah.
And then Dracula's getting really personal. He's like, idiot, the threats of mortals mean nothing to one immortal. And then he's like, I hold your lives in my hands, lives I can crush 'tween my fingers with ease, lives I shall end before the wicked night is done. Awesome.
I will say this about Colin. He was doing some weird panels here. Like, it's almost confusing. Like, we have one panel that's we're at the house and you just see the screaming.
Right.
And it's longer, so it extends into the panel beneath it. So you're almost thinking, oh, should I go to that panel? Because it's extending into that. But no, you should still go left to right. So it is a little confusing.
And I really don't like it when artists do that, because if he would have just made that panel even with the one after it, then nothing would have been cut off. He could have just made less of that house, that building, right? And then that way Dracula's face wouldn't be cut off in the next panel.
True. Yeah, it does just make it overly complicated.
Right. Right.
Anyway. Oh, but then we also get a shot of Rachel Van Helsing, and she has like a little hanky up to her face, and it looks like her face is all better now.
Yeah, it's all better. It's no longer mangled.
she wiped it with a hanky, and it healed it right up.
And so now Dracula, I guess, is commenting how many vampires Blade has killed. He's like, you have killed too many of my legions, Blade. You have hounded them, chased them, slaughtered them, when all they sought was to spread my rule to humans. What's so bad about that, right?
Yeah,
it is only fitting that as their lord and master, it is my hand which slays you, which ends your wretched existence for all time. But I think he's speaking a little prematurely, right?
Yeah, let's cancel Blade. He's anti-vampire.
Right, right.
By the way, we didn't get into Blade's background. Do you know his history?
Actually, no.
It's pretty long and convoluted, but his dad was somebody, I don't know, and he impregnated his mom. And he sent his mother, they were part of a cult or some sort of a society, and he sent his mother to another country to protect her from something going on in their home, wherever they were. And so he sent her to London, I guess. And she was living in a brothel because the madam of the brothel was a friend of the father, and she was going to protect her while she was pregnant. And so when she's given birth to Blade, they call in a doctor, and the doctor turns out to be a vampire. Oh. And he starts feasting on her while she's giving birth.
Oh.
And so while he's biting the mother, like, the vampire juices get transferred to the baby. So they were able to drive off the evil vampire doctor before he could get to the baby, but the mother was killed. So the brothel lady raised Blade, and then he would later meet a vampire hunter on the streets who saved him from an attack. And then he trained with that guy, who I can't remember his name, and then he became a big vampire hunter, and he was out to avenge the death of his mother. But Blade is a hybrid. He's part human, half vampire now because of that. So he's immune to vampire bites. Like, he cannot be turned into a vampire. And I guess later on, Morbius bit him, and the fact that Morbius bit him gave him superhuman power, like strength and endurance.
Okay.
And stuff like that, and a quicker healing. But yeah, he's a hybrid human vampire. There it is.
So I take it you've seen the Wesley Snipes movies, right?
I've seen like maybe 5 minutes of the first one, maybe. Just like flipping through channels.
Yeah, it's funny because when it came out, you'd think that as a longtime Marvel fan, I would have been all over that. But I think I watched it. I thought it was complete crap.
Oh, really?
Well, yeah. And then years later, I went back and rewatched 1, 2, and 3, and I thought 1 and 2 were pretty good. 3 is a little bit rough.
If I recall correctly, when 1 came out, I believe Siskel and Ebert kind of gave it a thumbs up.
Maybe, but it's technically the first Marvel Studios film, eh?
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy? Anyway.
Yeah. So.
Anyway, and also, what's his name? Ryan Reynolds is in Blade 3.
Oh.
And who's the co-star of True Detective season 3? I can't remember his name.
I didn't know they were even doing a season.
Yeah, but anyway, he was in Blade 3 as well. Anyone listening to this will know all this, but maybe not. And by the way, no one's listening. But anyway, okay. So back to Dracula and Blade. So the wrestling, and this is cool because he's the wrestling, and then he turns into mist, and I believe that is why Blade falls over the edge, right?
Yes,
he just kind of like
tricks
stumbles.
him. He like gets him to lean into him, and then he turns into mist, so then Blade
See,
falls.
Yeah, that's smart, right?
And by the way, I just checked the rating. Roger Ebert gave Blade 3 stars.
Whoa, yeah, it's worth seeing. It's worth seeing. And then it's funny because so Dracula is all bragging, right? Because he just tricked Blade, and Blade's like,
Yeah.
"Man, you keep blowing it, don't you, Smiley? Guess you didn't know there was a handy chandelier down here to grab onto or to hold on." It's awesome.
Yeah, like again, this is so bad that it's awesome.
Yeah.
like that bit of the chandelier is just tremendous.
Yep. And so then meanwhile, but above, so now this is Drake, right?
Yep, Frank Drake.
He's got Frank Drake, so he's got an axe and he goes to attack Dracula, but of course Dracula bats him away with the back of his hand.
Just backhands him.
Right. And then
Bang.
Blade makes his way back up onto the balcony and leaps on him. Oh yeah, this is great. Hey Fangs, remember me? I hate being forgotten. Blade? Right you are, Count. You won the booby prize. A foot to wipe that smile off your damn face. That's awesome.
Yeah, he kicks him right in the face.
Right.
Boom.
My face, my face. And then
Well, he's not saying that because of the kick.
Oh right.
Yeah, Blade has a knife carved from ebony wood. Bangs.
Right.
Like a steak. And dig it, Fangs. Because like a steak, it can kill you. Kill you.
Right.
And he swipes it at him. And then Dracula says, my face, my face.
Right.
Hey, Dracula, maybe you shouldn't have called that guy and invited him to your house.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, boy. So then Dracula runs away.
Yeah.
And then what is happening here? Is he smashing through the window?
Yeah, he jumps through a window to get away, and then he turns into a bat. Flies
right. He gone.
Yeah, he's gone.
Yeah, so
that's what Drake says. He's gone.
Oh yeah, and so this is actually, I like this scene. So now
this is really good, actually.
Yeah. This is what's her name again? This is Edith, right?
Yeah, Harker's daughter.
Right. So she's covering up her mouth, but when she pulls her hand away, we see that she's got the fangs.
Yeah, and the red eyes.
Right.
She's
like,
vampire.
I'm a vampire, and I'm thirsting, Father. Oh God, it's horrible. Please leave me, please, before I can no longer control myself. No, Edith, not you, Lord, not you. Tell me it isn't true, daughter. So yeah, she's basically going full vampire, right? And she's like, each moment I thirst more, each moment my control slips away from me. I can't take the risk. I mustn't dare. If you won't leave, Father, then I've no other choice. You must stop me. You must, before I kill. You must. And then, of course, what does he do here?
Well, she just jumps off the balcony to kill herself.
Oh, right. To kill herself, yeah.
She lands with a thud, but she's still alive.
Right. And then...
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, Quincy Harker does what a loving father must do in such a situation. He pulls out a wooden stake hidden in his cane and stabs her.
Right. Yeah, he's like, there is nothing but the prescribed methods. Edith, I do this for you, that the curse of the damned need never be yours. Farewell. And then, so he pulls out the stake, but all we get is a big close-up of her face, recoiling, and then it's all colored red.
Yeah, it's awesome.
And then,
I love that.
yeah, and then that's it. And then we get a silent panel. I love that. A silent panel of him just kind of weeping. That's great. And then it's all ruined by the last panel of
Drake.
Yeah. Run from us, Dracula. Fly away, hide in whatever damned hole you find. But this I swear, Dracula. This I swear. We'll track you down, Dracula. We'll hunt you to the ends of the earth. And when we find you, I will kill you. The end. Next, death of a vampire. So I guess he does kill him.
But a couple things with Marv Wolfman's writing you can see in that one exchange or one panel. He has a tendency to repeat character names.
I noticed. Yep.
Like we had Dracula three times about in 3 balloons, and also he has a tendency to repeat lines like for emphasis.
I noticed that, but I've only noticed that here, not in other Marv Wolfman stories, but who knows? Yeah,
he did it throughout this issue though, and it was a little weird.
Yes,
not that great.
the least.
But, so there it is. Next issue, Death of a Vampire. Yep. So there it is. All right, Michael. Does this meet the criteria of Shocktober? Were you shocked?
Yeah. Let me just put it this way. I've heard about Tomb of Dracula, my whole life, and based on this, I cannot see myself going any further. You know,
Really?
Well, I don't hate it. Like, we were definitely entertained, but I mean, and I knew what Marv Wolfman wrote like, but I just expected this to be more horror. Like, it obviously is horror, but I mean, other than that one scene at the end, which was really good, where the guy kills his own daughter, that was great. But the rest of it was pretty standard. I think super heroics. Like, what do you think?
Yeah, like you said, that end scene's great when he kills the daughter, and that panel, the all red panel's tremendous. But yeah, I'm trying to think back. We did get the Black Widow spiders.
Yeah.
What else?
I mean, it might get, maybe the series gets better over the 70 issues, but I mean,
well, like we said, Marv Wolfman started with issue 7, and as you mentioned, I think last issue, this is where he said he started to find his stride,
right,
where he finally knew what the book was about. So this is just the beginning of the book getting good. So
right.
I'm guessing it progresses from here. But I actually like the premise. I think it's a unique premise for a book to have the villain be like the guy being hunted and
right.
by these kind of no-name heroes. Like, it's not like it's Spider-Man and Captain America chasing them. It's, you know, people we don't really know. And I like the art, of course. Gene Colan's art's tremendous.
Yes.
But yeah, the dialogue and the narration, the narration's okay because it's obviously overdone, but it's for effect, for, like, you know, horror, so it's fine. But the dialogue could use some tightening up. That's for sure.
Yes.
And the big plot hole, like, I don't understand why Dracula was calling Blade. I don't get it.
Right. No, that makes no sense. No. And to be honest, even just, like, let's go back. Why did Dracula kidnap her in the first place? Just to get them to come to him. Like, why take that step, right?
Well, I guess you could say he wasn't prepared to fight them on the street.
Okay.
Because they just jumped him, so he wanted to have a final fight with them, but on his terms. Mm-hmm. And he figures if he brings them to the house that screams, the Whispering Hell, he would have home field advantage. So I guess I could see that. But again, I just don't understand why Blade was called.
Right.
Really weird. So there you go. I don't know. There's a lot here to like, but yeah, I mean, it's worth it just for Gene Colan's art, I think.
Yes. Yeah, Gene Colan is the perfect artist for this, in my opinion.
Yep. Absolutely. I like the Taj guy, like the silent, strong dude who just always hunting Dracula. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? I shouldn't say I would not want to read more because I probably will. It's just I don't know. It's kind of, it's exactly what I thought it would be from Marv Wolfman, but I thought it would be better. Like, I was hoping it'd be better than average Marv Wolfman, but it's not.
Yeah. Well, maybe it will be, you know.
Maybe, yeah.
Maybe try like issue like 43 or something. Okay.
Oh, you know what? I forgot to mention. You know that Marv Wolfman and Gene Colan actually did another Dracula series at Dark Horse Comics. Did you come across that?
Oh, I didn't do a lot of research, Michael.
Okay. Yeah, because it was basically... Yeah, like, they basically just did Dracula again, but it wasn't for Marvel, so they just changed the name, you know? But, I mean, Dracula's in the public domain, so, yeah.
Huh. Pretty cool. Was it, like, the same kind of premise, people hunting them, or...?
I'm not sure about that, but in the time it takes me to Google it, I will try to find out, but I don't know.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's pretty cool. Like, again, it's, like... I don't know. You know what's funny is I'm surprised, like, to me, if I were Marvel right now and I was trying to kind of expand my, you know, the franchise or whatever you want to say, why don't they do, like, a horror sub-label on, like, Netflix or something and do Tomb of Dracula, Werewolf by Night, and whatever Frankenstein, and just let the creators do whatever they want with them, you know? That's what I would do.
Yeah, I suppose.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm looking at, no, I don't know. I was looking at where Taj is tackling.
Oh, okay. Okay.
When he's the big bat. And
okay.
It just looks kind of cool. But anyway.
Oh, yeah, it's great. I just want to say I did find this Curse of it's called Curse of Dracula, and the same creative team is back with a fresh take on horror fiction's most durable character. So I don't think it's it's not the same premise, but it's still the same creators, you know, on Dracula. So it's worth checking out.
How about this? Do a Dracula where he's hunting the vampire hunters.
There you go.
Switch it around.
Yep.
Dun, dun,
Well,
dun.
it is kind of... Now that I think about it, wait a minute. If they did a Blade movie, I'm assuming the bad guy in the movie must have been Dracula. I guess this just shows how we're not really up on this stuff, eh?
Yeah, I have no interest in any of this.
Well, it's funny, too, because a friend of mine was asking me, you know, if I was a fan of the Marvel films. And I'm like, not really. He's like, why not? This is, you know, you're the target audience. I'm like, no, not really. I mean, I like the classic comics more than anything, you know, so.
Yeah, I was never into horror stuff. So, like, when Dracula was in the X-Men, I thought it was stupid.
Oh, that was stupid. That was stupid. And I pointed... Go ahead.
Oh, by the way, Mike, a little note here about our buddy Rachel Van Helsing, who had her face attacked by the bats. In those X-Men stories, she turns into a vampire and Wolverine kills her.
This is all coming back to me, you know, now. Yes.
The mercy killing, you know, to put her out of her misery. Yeah.
You know what's funny is I've actually said this on like Facebook groups and stuff many times, and people attack me because I'm like, listen, Dracula does not belong in the X-Men. Vampires do not belong in the X-Men, and people just can't. Even Chris Claremont, well, obviously he wrote the stories, but it's just like, you know, you can't mix supernatural and science fiction that way. It just doesn't really work, you know, in my opinion.
I agree. Yeah, not so good. Sorry. Anything else about Tomb of Dracula?
I don't know. Yeah, you know, all I can say is if you just want to read it for the art is incredible. And like I said, of all the horror artists or people suited to this type, Gene Colan has got to be right at the top. He's just so perfect for this type of story.
Yep. Yeah, so I don't know I'm trying to think what to give it. I'll probably still give it a 6.
Yeah. Well, because the art is like probably at least an 8 or 9. But then the script, it's like maybe a 4 or 5, but it is entertaining. So I guess that averages out to like a 6, sort of. Not really, but I'll give it a 6.
It's worth it just to see his art in that red panel of Edith Harkin getting stabbed.
Right,
I like
that was good.
That was really cool.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah. So at least a 6 here for Tomb of Dracula. And when I think of 70s Marvel, like one of the titles, like if you're thinking of the top 10 titles, Tomb of Dracula would be in there, just because it was like, it was always, like I said, we're talking about Howard the Duck too, because they were always featured in those ads to buy subscriptions. It was always Howard and Dracula and Spider-Man, usually like 2 or 3. So I just always remember those from my childhood. But yeah.
Well, and you know what's weird is that, I mean, I have no idea what the sales were, but you got to wonder why Dracula disappeared for so long, because there was actually a story in Doctor Strange where they killed off all the vampires on Earth. You know about this, right?
Yep.
And then they kept that status quo for like 5 or 10 years or whatever.
I think our buddy Frank Drake played a big role in that.
Oh, really?
So I think there's some sort of a serum or begins with an M, and I can't remember what it was, but I think he played a part in helping Strange do all that. I don't know. But so there you go, Tomb of Dracula. All right, Michael, so next week it would be my pick.
Yep.
But we have a special guest.
Yeah, special guest, my friend Kevin Morse, who's read more comic books than any person I've ever met. And so Mike Dell is giving him is taking the courtesy of handing over his pick to Kevin Morse. And Kevin Morse,
even though he's not my friend, he's your friend.
That's right.
So you think as your friend, you would do the honors, but no.
Wait,
no.
Technically, didn't I give up my pick for Larry? I think I did.
Well, that was a book you picked, though.
Okay, that's true. Okay. We'll even it out in a future date.
All right.
Okay. So Kevin's pick is Marvel Team Up featuring Spider-Man and Deathlock. This is Marvel Team Up number 46.
Spider-Man and Deathlock.
Yep.
So these Marvel Team Ups, I haven't read them since I was a kid. So does that mean Deathlock and Spider-Man are in the same story, correct?
Yes.
Or it's not like a divided book?
No. It's definitely a team up. Yep.
All right.
And
there's just the one story in the book, or is there like a backstory as well?
It's almost always done in one.
Okay.
And, you know, one of the things, though, I don't like about these team up books is there's always a very convoluted reason for them to be teaming up.
Yeah.
So I'm not looking forward to see how they do that, but whatever.
Yeah, Deathlock and Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I'm going to guess Peter Parker is covering some story involving technology. And I don't know. We'll see.
We'll have to wait and see, right? Till next week.
Yep.
So I guess that's it. So yeah, that wraps up another episode of Flea Market Fantasy. Every week we do a different Bronze Age comic book. One week I pick, the next week Mike Dell picks, the next week I pick, then the next week I pick again. And
and Mike L, real quick, so next week will be your buddy. Then the week after you have another pick in October. Still Shocktober.
Still Shocktober. Yep.
So do we have another Shocktober pick coming up?
Of course, but I can't reveal it just yet, right? Got to keep that a secret. Okay, so yeah, so you can find Flea Market Fantasy on Stitcher, iTunes, Spotify under Comic Book Syndicate. Comic Book Syndicate is also on Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, and our comicbooksyndicate.com website. So until next Tuesday, disperse!